Right now, someone is watching you. Not a conspiracy theory, not a film plot. Your phone knows where you slept last night. Your smart speaker heard your 3 a.m. conversation. The app on your screen has already predicted what you'll want for dinner. Now, imagine that wasn't a corporation. Imagine it was your government. And imagine there was no off switch, no privacy settings, no terms you could scroll past. That world already existed in the imagination of one man, writing alone in a cold Scottish farmhouse in 1948. His name was George Orwell. And the book he wrote? It's not a warning from the past, it's a mirror held up to right now. This is the story of 1984, and by the end of this video, you'll never look at your phone the same way again. The year is 1984. The place is London, except it isn't called London anymore. It's Airstrip 1, a province of a superstate called Oceania. The streets smell of boiled cabbage and burnt rubber. Posters on every wall show the same enormous face, dark eyes, heavy mustache, staring at you with a gaze that never blinks. Underneath it, 4 words. Big Brother is watching you. In every apartment, every office, every corridor, a telescreen. A television that watches back, always on, always listening, can never be turned off. And the thought police? They aren't looking for what you do. They're looking for what you think. It's called Thoughtcrime. And the penalty isn't a fine or a prison sentence. You simply disappear. Erased. Like you never existed. Here's the thing that makes this feel uncomfortably close to home. China's social credit system already rates citizens' behavior, who they associate with, what they post, whether they jaywalk, and assigns them a score that determines what jobs they can get, what trains they can board. Orwell wrote that in 1948. China built it in 2021. This is the world Winston Smith wakes up to every morning. Winston is 39 years old, thin, pale, with a varicose ulcer above his ankle. He works at the Ministry of Truth, which is the most ironic name imaginable, because his entire job is to lie. Every day he rewrites old newspaper articles, changes quotes, erases people who've become inconvenient. If the party made a prediction that turned out wrong, Winston's job is to go back and make sure it was never predicted at all. History doesn't exist. Only what the party says happened today. And Winston is exhausted. Soul deep exhausted. So one afternoon, just out of the telescreen sightline, he does the most dangerous thing a person can do in Oceania. He picks up a pen. He opens a journal, an actual physical journal, bought from a junk shop, and he starts to write. Not a manifesto, not a plan, just his thoughts, just the truth as he sees it. Down with Big Brother. Over and over, without realizing he's written it. Just that act alone is punishable by death. He knows this. He writes anyway. And then, one morning at work, a woman he's barely noticed slips a note into his hand. He doesn't open it until he's back at his desk, heart hammering. He unfolds it. 3 words. I love you. Her name is Julia. And Winston's world will never be the same. Julia isn't who Winston feared she was. She's not a spy. She's someone who has been quietly breaking every rule the party has and loving every second of it. Together, they meet in stolen moments. A meadow outside the city. A rented room above an antique shop. They eat real food. They talk freely. They laugh. For Winston, this isn't just romance. This is revolution. Because the party demands that you love only Big Brother. Your children. The state. Love between 2 people is a dangerous, ungovernable thing, and the party knows it. And then O'Brien enters the picture. He's high-ranking, powerful, and Winston has always had this feeling, an instinct that O'Brien is secretly on his side. One day, O'Brien invites them to his apartment and confirms everything Winston hoped. He's part of the Brotherhood, the underground resistance. He hands Winston a forbidden book, a manifesto written by the enemy of the state, Emmanuel Goldstein. Winston reads it like oxygen reaching his lungs. He's not alone. there are others. There's a way to fight back. He feels, for the first time, actual hope, and then everything fell apart. The shop owner was a spy. The room was wired. O'Brien was never a rebel. He is one of the most devoted servants of the party who has ever existed. The whole thing, every conversation, every moment of hope was a trap, designed specifically for people like Winston. They are taken, dragged away in the night, separated. Winston is brought to the Ministry of Love, which, again, the name is a lie. There is no love here. What follows is months of systematic destruction. Not just physical torture, though there is plenty of that. It's psychological. O'Brien isn't trying to punish Winston. He's trying to rebuild him, to make him genuinely, sincerely, from the inside out believe. How many fingers am I holding up, Winston? 4. Winston can see 4 fingers. O'Brien says 5. And he keeps going until Winston isn't sure what he sees anymore. Until the number the party says becomes the number that is real. Winston has one thing left. One line he won't cross. His love for Julia. They can break his body, scramble his mind, take everything. But they cannot make him betray her. Then they take him to room 101. Room 101 is the place where they bring your worst fear. Your absolute worst, the thing that lives in the basement of your nightmares. For Winston, it's rats. O'Brien straps a cage of starving rats to Winston's face. The rats are at his cheek, at his eye, ready to tear. And in that white moment of pure animal terror, everything that Winston is collapses. He screams, "Do it to Julia!" Not me, Julia. He betrays the one thing he swore they couldn't take. The last human thing he had, and it's gone. Months later, Winston sits in a cafe. He sees Julia. They look at each other. They both know they each gave the other up. There's no anger, no grief, just nothing. The love has been surgically removed, and as Winston stares up at a screen showing Big Brother's face, he feels something warm rising in his chest. Not fear, not hate. Love. Real, complete, unironic love for Big Brother. They didn't just break Winston. They remade him. The party has won. Completely. Permanently. Forever. So, here's why a book written in 1949 belongs in 2025. 1. Right now, the U.S. government's executive order titled Ensuring Accountability for All Agencies placed previously independent institutions under direct political supervision. Scholars called it unprecedented. Critics called it Orwellian, the language of neutrality, used to build the architecture of control. Sound familiar? 2. Every day, social media algorithms decide what version of reality reaches you, not based on what's true, based on what keeps you engaged. Dopamine as a tool of control. Outrage as the new 2 minutes hate. 3. You are carrying a telescreen in your pocket right now, voluntarily, lovingly. And unlike Winston, you bought it yourself. Orwell wasn't predicting a dictator with a mustache. He was warning us about something quieter and more dangerous. The slow, comfortable surrender of the right to think freely. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. That's what 1984 is about. Not a government, not a villain. The terrifying ease with which a free mind can be convinced to love its own chain. The book doesn't end with hope. Orwell didn't want it to. Because the ending is the warning, and the question Orwell leaves you with, the one that'll sit with you at 2 a.m., is this. If it happened to Winston so completely that he never knew it was happening, how would you know if it was happening to you? If this made you uncomfortable, good. That's the point. Hit subscribe. We cover books that change the way you think, not just the way you feel. Drop a comment. What do you think is the most Orwellian thing happening in the world right now? And if you want your mind bent in a completely different direction, next week we're covering a book about why everything you believe about willpower is wrong. Until then, keep reading, Keep questioning, and keep your mind your own.